According to a report earlier this week in the Wall Street Journal, Donald Trump may have finally realized that everyone on his staff actually hates him. Now, according to this report, Donald Trump right now is actually concerned about several things. First and foremost, the fact that staff morale is low. Well, if you were a good boss, you would always be concerned about staff morale. That is something even major corporations try to work on. Some of them even have departments that specifically only work on doing things to make their employees happier. The second thing you're worried about is, in terms of the low morale, is that they're disloyal. Now, right there, you lost any goodwill you may have had about worrying about their morale and worried about your employees not liking their jobs. Because you're not worried about them not liking their jobs because, there's a human being suffering. No, you're worried about how it affects you and the future of your White House. That's what you're concerned about. You're concerned people are disloyal. And third, according to Wall Street Journal, he's also upset about the fact that all of the coverage of him in the press is negative. Listen, buddy. Nobody in this country is entitled to positive press. If you want good reports on you, go do good things. Maybe stop using the military as a political prop. Maybe stop pushing for a multi-billion-dollar wall that will do nothing to solve our immigration issues. Maybe, just hear me out on this one, stop taking the sides of dictators who say that climate change isn't real and start listening to scientists. That's another thing you did this week too. You took the side of Putin and Mohammed bin Salman, who also signed on and said, no, we don't agree with the harsh language in this climate report. You took their side over the side of scientists, you moron. But yeah, I understand why you're worried about low staff morale. First and foremost, you don't have enough staff to properly do your job. And that's basically been the case since day one. The number of staffers in the White House is inadequate because they have not been able to find enough people, even low-level people, and I don't mean that offensively, to go and just work there, to do things, to keep the day-to-day functions going. Now you're losing your chief of staff, and you can't find anybody to replace him. And can you blame them? Really? Who would want to walk into this? Let's even look at the best case scenario at this point for you, not for the country, obviously. But let's say you actually didn't do anything wrong. You did not break any laws. Let's say the Mueller report comes out and says you are squeaky clean. You've never done anything illegal in your life. Michael Cohen lied about you being individual one, and you're free to go. Even if that were the case, what person hates themselves enough to come in as your chief of staff while you're sitting there screaming witch hunt, screaming at Democrats, insulting people on Twitter, insulting people in real life, working with two of the biggest liars in D.C., that's Sarah Huckabee Sanders and Kellyanne Conway? Who wants to jump into that fray? Not to mention you got the mustachioed John Bolton in your ear saying war, 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 war. Nobody wants to do that. So can you blame them? Even some of the most horrible people you could think of, like Mnuchin or Mulvaney, they don't even want that job because you're uncontrollable, you're irrational, and more importantly, they understand that best case scenario I just described, that has basically a 0% chance of happening. Things in your White House are going to get so much worse over the coming months, and there is nobody who wants to volunteer to captain that ship as it's going down.